Welcome everyone to this latest edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me as always is my co-host Albert Sita. Thank you all for tuning in this week, whether it be on audio version, wherever you get your podcasts at, or you're watching the video feed on YouTube. Either platform, we are greatly appreciative of your time here. Got a lot to talk about today. UFC 259 so far in 2021. We're only a couple months in, but this was a hell of an event. Lots to talk about there. We're going to talk about some of the big, quote-unquote, big signings for AEW, and also talk about a new era being ushered in for the WWE with the almighty one, Bobby Lashley, now WWE champion. But first, before we get started with each round, Albert, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just recovering from last night's event.
Yeah.
It was not a good night for my boys, the guys I was going for.
For your picks, basically.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see our picks, head over to our Instagram account. Every major UFC pay-per-view, we actually do our picks with Albert, myself, Dos Leprechauns podcast host Jason Hendricks, and Nate Hendricks, and also our esteemed executive producer Guillermo Sita gives our picks. So if you guys wonder why aren't we talking about AEW Revolution, we are recording this prior to that event. So next week we'll have our recap. But hopefully you guys tuned in for our watch party that's going to go on after we're recording this. So we're kind of time loop here right now, Albert. We're recording after UFC 251, but before AEW Revolution, and also before our watch party on Twitch.
Yeah.
So but we'll have
So if you see the action figures out there, they're behind you for a reason.
Yeah. Just you're not doing any
No,
interior decorating here?
No, not yet.
So we'll have our official kind of recap and thoughts on AEW Revolution. But if hopefully you guys saw our live reaction as it unfolded, because we had the Twitch live party, which was Sunday.
And
but yeah,
hopefully
anyways.
if I did everything right, I'll be able to repost it on our YouTube.
There you
if
go.
you don't see it on our YouTube, that means I completely messed it up.
Let us know. That maybe we'll email it to you. Real quick before we started, we talked last week about WandaVision. Now I'm all caught up. The series' finale, so spoiler alerts here if you haven't watched it. Ooh. Albert, you're all caught up with the show.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah. For me, in a word, disappointed.
Yeah. I'm gonna put an emphasis on that. I was hoping for a big reveal. Didn't get it. I get the Doctor Strange setup they did at the post credits.
Yeah.
But I was just like you said. I really wanted a big reveal. I wanted a big villain. I wanted something that was going to lead to something bigger like Thanos. Mm-hmm. And I guess I just had my expectations too high.
Yeah, and I know in the grand scheme of things, this wasn't supposed to be the first show to come out. But obviously, 2020, the pandemic, kind of scheduled things around with I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be the first show to pan out.
And
so
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna take Winter Soldier and the Falcon. I'm not gonna take it that serious. I'm gonna watch it, but like when I get a chance.
Yeah.
I don't have it marked down like I had WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision was something because I think you and I are both X-Men fans. They have a lot of lore in the X-Men comic book, so kind of hoping for something like that, which is the reason why I tuned in every week. But we didn't get much of that, so hopefully something comes off of it. Kevin Feige did say shows are going to lead into movies are going to lead into shows, this weird cycle. So obviously Wanda and her adventures are going to be continued into Doctor Strange and the madness of the multiverse or whatever, multiverse madness. But you're going to have to pay a ticket to see what just like Disney, right? Well, I was going to remember Marvel's Disney. So Disney, as you're a lifelong Disney fan, annual pass holder. Which
I did get a taste of what's the thing they came out that food festival?
It's like a touch of Disney.
Of Disney? Yeah. You know I got it.
Yeah, so
I got them tickets.
We're local to Southern California. We have Taste of Knott's, we have Taste of Universal Studios, and also either Touch or Taste of Disney, whatever one. So but as a Disney proprietor, you have budget Disney in your life, right? They always try to milk every last dollar out of their fans.
And they sure are.
Marvel is what it is. You want to see more WandaVision or more Wanda? You got to go watch Doctor Strange. So let's get started with round number 1 now. We're going to talk about UFC 259. Timer is started on the early prelims, and we're going to go up to the early prelims, and then also the first championship bout on the card, which is a bantamweight bout between Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Any highlights on the prelims you want to talk about, Albert?
Just pretty much Joseph Benavidez. I know it was a tough fight for him.
Yeah.
But I think we've seen the best of Joseph Benavidez already. And so I was, if you remember, I was a huge Joseph Benavidez fan. I was like probably one of his number one supporters when the fly division first got started. But I think his better days are behind him, and it just sucks. End of an era. I think.
Yeah, 36 years old. He's fought for the title multiple times. Never got over the hump. Never was crowned champion in the UFC. But when you lose to Demetrius Johnson, Dominick Cruz, Davison Figueiredo,
in the way UFC is treating their veterans with a high price tag, I think either he retires like he previously was going to do, or I think UFC is going to let him go just because Junior Dos Santos, Overeem. I mean, we've seen how many people, Anderson Silva, these guys that have a high price tag.
Sergio Pettis left,
and they're up there in age.
Anthony Pettis, sorry.
Either way, I don't think we're gonna see him in the UFC.
Overall, the undercard, I saw a majority
it was
of
good.
them.
It was a good undercard.
Prelims, it was a great undercard no matter what. We're limited to 5 minutes here. Featured prelim bout.
Dominick Cruz,
Casey Kenny, vintage Dominick Cruz.
I know Dominick Cruz, your boy. What'd you think?
Vintage Dominick Cruz. There's a couple times he got.
But you know what? Though?
He ate some of Casey Kenny's best shots.
But come on, he's been out for a couple of years. I think it was more rust than anything. But he looked like the old Dominick.
It's funny that they said like he missed all of like 18, 19, 21, or not 20, but like he misses all these chunks of years. He's been a veteran of the sport for a long time, but yet Casey Kenny and himself have like almost the same amount of UFC fights, which is insane if you think about it, right? So Dominick Cruz is 35, but they said he's at 35, doesn't have a lot of mileage on him. Do you think
just a lot of surgeries?
Just a lot of surgeries. Do you think he could prolong this stretch? Could he be kind of this weird thing, like almost like AJ Styles of UFC, where AJ is like in his 40s by the time he got to UFC, but man, he still kept going.
I mean,
At 35, Dominick Cruz, not that many fights in his belt. Can he keep going?
I think as long as he doesn't have a major injury, I honestly think he can go 3 more years in the top level. I'm talking about top level. Obviously, he could probably go another 10 years if he wanted just to fight, but 3 years top levels. I think as long as he stays healthy.
I see him like again with Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. I saw him at that level. I think there's no reason why he's currently ranked at number 11 in the bantamweight division, just because he's inactive. Because he's been inactive because he's been injured. But Dominick Cruz, again, always fought for the belts. Either 1 or 2 guys in the division, number 1, number 2. Whenever he came back from an injury, one of the best color commentators the UFC has. He always talks about Henry Cejudo. That loss kind of gets to him a little bit. There's options for Dominick Cruz. Granted, during his post-fight interview, he called out some dude who I didn't know, who a lot of fans didn't know on Twitter. Say, what was that about?
I text you like, what?
Yeah, I looked him up. I guess he has something to do with Monster, and he they're pro athlete kind of sponsorship or contracts. So he does have a pretty big profile, or he has a pretty good social media life, quote unquote. He's always doing cool stuff, and I was browsing his Instagram afterward. It took me forever to find him because one, I know how to spell his name, and 2, I was like Dominick Cruz, Monster Beef or something like that. I googled, I found this guy, and I guess he's a pretty big dude. Like, he trains Muay Thai. I don't know if he fights Muay Thai, but
is it the guy that he has like a mustache?
Yeah, he's a pretty big dude, like stocky dude.
Yeah. He has his own like what you call like MMA gear.
Yeah.
Thing. Oh yeah, we bumped into him in Bellator.
Did we?
Yeah, when I met him, he was a cool dude.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm thinking maybe.
Yeah, he's usually kicking it with like Rampage and DC. And,
I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but apparently Dominick Cruz has enough beef with him where they want to do a charity fight. Joe Rogan tried to cut him off. It's kind of funny. Like, Joe Rogan's like, "Hey, we're not trying to get political here." Come on, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's like, "I get paid by Monster."
Yeah, he's like, "You want to get political? You come on the Joe Rogan Experience." Is that what he's talking about? So we'll see what's next. Obviously Joseph Benavidez, time has come, but man, Kyler Phillips looked great in one of the feature bouts as well. Top to bottom, man, the prelims were delivered. We didn't even touch about Aljamain Sterling, so we'll talk about that in the next round coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 2. Time to focus on the main card. We'll get as much as we can here in the 5 minutes. So, I mean, UFC 259 was so stacked, man. That's why we got to dedicate more than one round to it. You want to start with Thiago Santos dropping a decision, right?
I mean, I guess we could start there. It was actually a lackluster fight to me. I thought we were going to see a finish here. And honestly, I think Santos' stock is dropping with that loss with Glover Teixeira and now this other loss after having such a good turnout against John Jones. And I've always said it again. It's a little warning in the bottom. I do not know anything about actual MMA, but I've always, if you watch past episodes, I've always said it. I think the what makes John Jones superior is his size and length, and whenever you can match that, you kind of take away his biggest strength. And you've seen people that end up doing better than you think you should.
Alexander Gustafsson being the main one.
Santos being the other guy. Even
Dominick Reyes.
Even Dominick Reyes. Even dude, he's on his. I can't even think right now. The guy that has the freaking Omega tattoos on his arm. Oh my gosh. OSP. Even OSP did good, and because they're both it's size, length, and you take away that big advantage that Jones has, and I think you see more of an even playing field. And so I attribute that to them having good performance against John Jones. But in the reality of it, I think it's showing that Santos maybe isn't a top contender. I mean, Glover Teixeira, I know he's a big name, whatever, but I mean, everyone did not expect that to happen.
We'll talk about that, but light heavyweight is looking a little pretty thin right now, isn't it?
Oh, it's looking real thin. But then again, there's still a lot of challengers. I think for John, I think there's still a bunch of guys he has to fight. You know what? Exactly what I was thinking. I know I'm jumping all over the place, and I know we're like, I felt like saying like is DC looking and being like, hey, bro, I think I can win the belt again.
I could come back.
Yeah.
You bust a Randy Couture.
I'm just saying.
Do a commentary for a couple of years and like really study the fighters, and all of a sudden just hop in there, win it, and retire. Islam Makhachev, Khabib.
I did not know if I was watching Islam Makhachev or if I was watching Khabib. Because, dude, it was a clone out there of Khabib. I mean, he literally picked up where Khabib left off. And what a submit. Dude, I didn't even know. Like, legit, I saw him doing the attempt, and I was already counting the round out, and he submits him.
Yeah. I actually picked him to win. I was rooting for him to win until post-fight, he calls out. Islam calls out Tony Kukui. You do not do that. You do not call out El Kukui. Islam, you had a fan. Now you lost a fan in me. You do not call out the boogeyman because the boogeyman won't come after you. So that's Khabib's fight. Don't even try to take it away from Khabib. I don't care if it happens in Khabib's promotion, the Eagle Fighting Championship. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib is going to happen. Don't you try and step in and step on the boogeyman's toes. So, again, Islam, great performance, but you lost a fan in me. Bantamweight Championship, Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. What in the heck happened here, man?
First of all, there are speculations that his corner actually told him to throw the knee or the kick, and that's why he did it. But like, who doesn't know you can't strike a down opponent
nowadays?
Right? Yeah. Like, I know there's like different little rules in different little states, but like, come on, man. Like, that's like blank.
Or even different country. Like, obviously, remember when Pride kind of folded and they brought Shogun and all these guys here? They actually had trouble adjusting, but right?
That's different, though.
UFC's been the top dog for how many years now? You know the rules.
In all honesty, I felt like it was frustration. Mm-hmm. I think even though it was a close fight and it looked like maybe Peter was edging on each round, I think frustration hit Peter. And I think he knew what he was doing. I think it was just one of those. I think it was one of those things where frustration got the better of him, and he went for it.
That's a pretty big conspiracy.
I'm just saying, man. That's what it seemed like to me.
Pretty big conspiracy on that one. I think. Well, for those who didn't watch the fight, Petr Yan was winning the fight. He was going to win the 5-round decision.
It looked like he was edging the win.
Aljamain Sterling is clearly down, has a knee, has one hand on. Petr Yan has the back of his head, and all of a sudden just throws a knee right to the temple.
Straight blast him in the face.
Almost attempted murder, and then disqualified. Aljamain Sterling is now the undisputed quote-unquote UFC bantamweight champion. You run it back? You run it back, right?
You have to.
Yeah, they run it back.
Yeah, 100%. Even though Chael Sonnen made some good comments at the end of the fights, he said that why does the DQ give the guy the title? Which I kind of understood, but then,
maybe you just strip Petr Yan.
I don't know.
And then have him fight for the vacant.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was gonna say. and then rounds over.
We're gonna keep going.
All right.
So that's it. Round 3. We're gonna talk about the co-main event and main event. UFC 259, event so big it's covering up half the show. So don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 3. UFC 259 is taking over all of the rounds here. So all you wrestling fans here, hold on. We have some stuff for you in the championship rounds.
If Dana White's paying attention, this is why this was a $70 card.
Exactly.
All right, I will pay $70 for this type of card. Don't you dare give me what we had with the Usman and expect me to pay $70 for that card.
No,
again,
this is
and all due respect to Usman, who I like, who I think he's
Deserving
a great champion. But come on, bro, do not charge me $70 for that card.
A lot of meat and potatoes in this card here. Co-main event, Amanda Nunes does her thing again, makes it look so easy. Submits Megan Anderson. I think she got scratched like twice in the fight. Megan Anderson looked completely outclassed, completely overpowered by the GOAT Amanda Nunes, not only the women's mixed martial art GOAT, but one of the top fighters in MMA history. Gender be damned. Amanda Nunes makes it done easy. What's next for Nunes? Like, do you just hang out? Obviously, Albert, as you know, she's a parent. She has bills to pay, so she's gonna keep fighting. But who does the UFC throw at her next to kind of even just make it look like it's gonna be somewhat of a challenge for her at all?
Honestly, I think it's not going to be in the featherweight division. I think she's going to have to defend her other belt just because I think for the featherweights, you really need to establish that division
first. Yep.
Yeah, now with, I mean, they put a lot of eggs in that basket into Meg Anderson, and I think she was supposed to be the contender. And like we talked off camera, I think maybe the push was too early. But honestly, I think the featherweight division takes a break until there's an established division. So I think she moves down. And we see what it goes. Honestly, I think, believe it or not, I think Shevchenko is the only one that might defeat her at this point until we see more of the bantamweight fights and more of the featherweight fights.
There's talk about at least at 145, you run it back with Jermaine Duramity because she did okay. You run it back with her. You still got Holly Holman. It's the same name. It's the same names over and over again. Bellator has a really great women's featherweight division, but obviously, unless the UFC wants to purge that whole division just to give Amanda Nunes some opponents, who knows? Like you said, maybe they just put it on hold, and whenever she ready wants to fight.
Yeah, and like you said, the best thing that you could do. I mean, they both had decisions, but Valentina was the one that had the split decision.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad if they throw any, but featherweight, I think we're done until maybe the end of the year, and I better see the next 10 cards all have a featherweight women's bout in there
to get it up
because they need to get that thing going.
Main event time: Jan Błachowicz defeats Israel Adesanya.
Let's just get out of the way. I had Izzy winning.
You did.
I had Izzy winning, and for whoever that person was that gave it 10-8, or if it was all of them or all the judges. What an idiot, bro. What an idiot. Like, obviously, they just learned MMA yesterday. 10-8? Get out of here. I would when I saw that, I was about to punch a hole in my wall because how are we still getting these bad judge scorecards like now? Like, I get it back in the red and orange. I remember in the early UFC hundreds, like the 50 through 100, I kind of got like why the judges were kind of all over the place. You were still trying to figure out does wrestling mean more? Does octagon control? I get it.
Aggressiveness.
We're trying to figure it all out. But come on, dude, we're at UFC 259, and you're giving 10-8 rounds like that.
A 10-8 means that one opponent completely dominated the round no matter what. That's a 10-8 round.
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. Sure, John, you can make the argument that John won the fight, but at the same time, it was such a close fight that it should have been like with the scorecards should have been way closer. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and that's disrespectful to my boy Izzy.
Honestly, I don't think Adesanya loses anything here. He could go down to middleweight.
Oh yeah,
and still die. But it proves that, dude, he came in at 200 pounds.
Yeah,
stayed that way. Jan Błachowicz came in at 205, ballooned back up to 220. All the elite light heavyweights are gonna do that. And when you're making 200 even flat, you're not gonna. It's just size and physics, man. Unfortunately, unless he's so skillful in there, he's knocking the dudes out. All they need, like Jan proved, I'm gonna hold of you. I'm gonna just keep you down on the ground.
And maybe I'm just too hardcore of an Izzy fan, But I think down the road we're gonna see this matchup all over again at 205, and I think this time around Izzy's gonna get it.
He's certainly talented enough to do it.
I think like he took the loss like a true champ, and he said like it's the technique wasn't there that he wanted to do, and I think a couple more bouts in that weight class, I think he gets it.
We haven't talked about the champion, Jan Błachowicz. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Oh yeah,
I've had
awesome
opportunity
dude.
to talk to him in person.
Yeah,
Great dude, super nice.
Watch the Embedded. He's freaking amazing.
I also love the fact that he's probably the most hated man in the UFC right now because Dana White's just looking at him. You ruined John Jones versus Izzy. But again, he has opportunities to run it back with Dominic Reyes, Santos again. So the matchups are there. Are they super duper exciting? Yeah. Maybe not. But the UFC definitely has a champion that they could count on who will be there, and that's Jan Błachowicz. Probably, if anything, you want to book him now as the working man's champion.
I'm even going to tell you, like, you start with Glover Teixeira, and you work your way back through the gauntlet of 205 until John Jones figures out what he wants to do as far as the heavyweight division. But I say you start with Glover Teixeira, and you work your way up.
Yeah, I think, you know what? He's definitely a guy. He's going to be professional with the media, going to meet all of his obligations. So, again, not a champion who is he might get lost in the spotlight, but dude could have been a nicer guy, man. So congratulations, Jan Błachowicz. Great card, UFC, all around, man. So far, card of the year. I know we're only in March here, but definitely a round of applause for the UFC. So we're going to come back, take a short break, enter the championship rounds, and talk about some professional wrestling. So don't go anywhere. That's coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 4. Let's enter the championship rounds. Let me get adjusted here. So AEW makes another big splash. Pardon my pun here. Timer started. Paul Wight, formerly known as The Big Show, formerly known as The Giant in WCW.
No BS.
Shocks the world. Signs with All Elite Wrestling. Makes his debut. Does really nothing. Cuts a promo. That's about it. Mm-hmm. Albert Cita, you're more of I'm an AEW fan. I like it. I want them to be successful. I'm a Kenny Omega mark. But when they do stuff like this, is super kind of discouraging on my end. One, I was never a Big Show fan to begin with, even as the Giant, even as the Big Show in WWE. They're trying to justify it. I think Chris Jericho said a motivated Paul Wight is a dangerous Paul Wight, but then he was not going to wrestle on a regular basis. He's going to kind of hang out, do commentary, and then some matches here and there. So this kind of falls in line of Sting, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Dustin Reynolds, formerly Goldust. Your thoughts on the Paul Wight signing and what it means for AEW?
It does. I have mixed feelings. I'm fine with the signing, but history has shown us when you depend too much on the former stars, that's when you know your company's not going to succeed. You need to really focus on the new guys, but at the same time, I get it. You need eyes on the product, and even though the Big Show, Paul Wight, is never going to be on someone's top 5 list of all-time greats, he is a very recognizable figure, real recognizable name. And I get it. You're trying to get more eyes on the product, but you just still have to have that good balance. So that's why I have mixed feelings about it. And as long as they do it right, I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with him doing part-time matches and him being mostly doing commentary. And technically he came in to push their new show that's going to be on YouTube on Mondays. Is it Mondays or Tuesdays? I think it's Mondays. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay with it.
As long as he's not wrestling for the title, then you're fine.
Exactly.
Right? Which I don't think he will, but I'm like, eh.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay.
Maybe because I was never a fan of the guy to begin with. Yeah. And I was supposed to get excited by it and his look.
And I think they're trying to also go for some irony here. If you remember, the switch from WCW to WWE was, remember when Big Show came over to WWE and then
St. Valentine's Day Massacre, he debuted.
So I think there's a little bit of irony going on in there.
Yeah. And
then it's just funny that as soon as Big Show Paul Wight comes into AEW, you hear NXT is going to move to Tuesday night.
That's really not the reason why.
I'm just saying.
Not the reason why.
The irony's there because Big Show just won the war again.
Oh, God. I mean, if you're going to ask me to pick Paul Wight and Cody versus Finn Balor Adam Cole.
Oh, well, come on, man.
Come on.
But you're putting out the big guns.
Come on. That is their big guns. Paul Wight and Cody Rhodes are their big guns.
No, it's Kenny Omega, bro. Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks.
All I see is Cody. Every time I turn on AEW, I
Hangman
see
Adam
Cody
Page.
everywhere, and I got to flip the channel.
Don't you try to compare Paul Wight to my boy Adam Cole, baby.
So, I mean, again, if they're going to use them right, it's just sort of funny to me, like, back when the Monday Night Wars were happening, if we go again, because we have to go there because that's what the internet wants to compare it to. You didn't see WWE signing all of the older WCW talent.
No, they got the young guys that were not being utilized in WCW.
They got the Giants. They got the Jerichos, Eddie
Guerrero's,
Dean Malenko's. Exactly. Well, Mysterio came after.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But they got those guys who weren't being utilized. Here, now they're banking on, granted, it's a different era, but still, Sting, okay, so you get Sting and Darby Allin. Sting is supposed to heighten Darby Allin, right? Big Show, I guess, but I'm just not excited. Maybe when they sign somebody else I liked growing up, then maybe we'll go from there, but I wasn't a Big Show fan, wasn't really a Sting fan growing up. Arn Anderson was way older by the time I got into wrestling. Same thing with Tully Blanchard. I mean, I appreciate what they did in history, but Arn Anderson on my TV now does nothing for me. Tully Blanchard on my TV screen now in 2021 does nothing for me.
But like you said, they're just there to pretty much enhance the talent that they're representing. Like with Jake Roberts and stuff like that. First of all, again, like I have mixed feelings. I love seeing Jake Roberts staying active because if you know his backstory,
that's the reason why I like it too.
If you know his backstory, I just want nothing but good to come of Jake Roberts. I was a big Jake the Roberts fan back in the day, and so it's just nice to see him still being part of it. And they're using these guys in a mentor role, and I get it. They're every now and then Terry Blanchard just did a match, so they're splashing them in there. Arn Anderson takes a bump here and there, so like I think they're using it the right way. They just can't go to the well too much.
Got it. One more round coming up. Talk about some serious business coming up. Talking about that hurt business. So don't go anywhere. Coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Fifth and final round here. Timer is started. Bobby Lashley defeats The Miz rather easily a couple Mondays ago to become the new WWE World Champion. History in the making, as only third African-American to hold that title. The Rock, Kofi Kingston, and now Bobby Lashley. Your thoughts real quick on how they did it. Bobby being
First of
champion.
All, I don't really like that Miz was the transitional one. I like the fact that he got squashed. And Bobby just looked that much bigger. And I get that's probably what they were going for. It just irritates me when I hear the Miz say he's the second time. What's it called when they get all the belts?
He ran the cycle twice.
Yeah, whatever it is. So that to me, that's just annoying. But, man, how awesome it is for Bobby Lashley to be finally champion. This is a long time coming. And all I can think about is all these huge matchups. I know that my boy Keith Lee isn't getting that big push anymore. But I would love to see Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley for the title. Of course, my dream match is Brock versus Bobby Lashley for the title. But, there's so many big matchups for Bobby Lashley as the champion.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off your thing about The Miz, people getting mad about The Miz, getting his push, whatever. But last I checked, The Miz has his own reality TV show. The last I checked, The Miz has his own segment with Miz TV or whatever, right? The Miz
has a lisp, and I don't like it.
The Miz is going to be just fine.
Oh, yeah.
The Miz has a job for life for the WWE. He is a Hall of Famer. So people crying about this, guess what? His paychecks aren't any lighter because he was a transitional champion.
If anything, they're a little bit thicker now.
And he's going to have a featured mount with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
So The Miz is doing just fine on the business side of things. And I'm pretty sure The Miz is going to... He's just fine, people. I know people get upset and see that.
I don't know why they would get upset.
What's on TV is real life. The Miz is doing just fine. This is more important. The Bobby Lashley is bigger than The Miz. Unfortunately, sorry, you marks out there, but man, they're hurt business. Talk about MVP coming in out of seemingly nowhere, right? He came out all of a sudden MVP. All of a sudden, it was just for the Rumble, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe a producer. Now he has influence on the booking, obviously. Completely 360 or 180 on the career trajectory of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander.
Dude,
Bobby Lashley now has Bobby Lashley's always great. Not exactly the best promos, not the cleanest promos. You put a guy on the mic who could talk for him. What happens now?
Yeah,
champion. I know Vince is really weird with managers, but some guys just need managers.
Yeah.
What happened if Andre the Giant didn't have Bobby the Brain Heenan back in
Oh, dude.
How's he going to sell that fight?
That would have been horrible.
Can Brock really talk for himself?
No. That's why he has
Paul Heyman. Bobby Lashley, again, he can get through a promo, doesn't really instill any kind of, inspiration or fear. His promos are okay. You put the MVP, who our boy Guillermo was MVP fan back in the day, great promos. You put him with Bobby Lashley, what happens now? Like you said, now we're back in the era of, again, I'm going to get hate for this here, but true heavyweights being heavyweight champion. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee, Sheamus is in there now, Brock Lesnar, these big dudes who are...
I'm surprised you didn't say the big dog.
The big dog, Roman Reigns, you know what I mean? Guys like that, Cesaro now, these guys who are true heavyweights. WWE's always been the land of giants back in the day, and now we kind of hit a little dry spell where we thought, okay, maybe we'll get like the Daniel Bryans, the Finn Balor's.
But I think we now have these giants that can wrestle.
They could work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're not Ultimate Warrior doing the two.
Exactly.
Bobby Lashley, you can question this guy's athleticism, his workability. Drew McIntyre. These guys are like true heavyweights, and they could work, which is great. Can you imagine like Hogan with that athleticism of a Bobby Lashley?
He would actually been respected.
Exactly. So I think this is nothing but good stuff for him.
Oh, yeah.
Now, WrestleMania plans are still up in the air, even though we're like less than almost a month away. What do you think happens for Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania? Is this a long title reign, or is he a transitional champion?
I think he goes all the way to WrestleMania. I'm still hoping. Who knows? Maybe AEW does sign Brock Lesnar. Who knows? But let's say Brock stays with WWE. You gotta put Brock versus Bobby. Like, you have to. I don't see a bigger match unless you want to wait until next WrestleMania for that one. But like I was saying, there's tons of matchups you can do. The Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, to me, that's still fine. But, I mean, there's matchups for days for this guy. So, I think he holds it for a while. And, honestly, I will put all my eggs in this basket. And if they do Brock versus Bobby, I think you let Bobby go over.
This year?
This year or next year. Either way, you let Bobby go over. And then all this can lead up to some super unification when it's Bobby Lashley versus Big Dog.
My head makes explode thinking about that one. But yeah, hopefully he keeps it for a while. Hopefully he has a good run. I am not mad with McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley this year at WrestleMania. I think that'd be a good one. If you want to mix it in, throw Sheamus in there, have a little triangle match or three-way match. I like that too. As long as Bobby Lashley's in the picture, I like it as well. Hurt Business, man.
What a good stable.
Wow, good stable, great stable, great mouth.
Since when I first heard about them trying to make like a shooter group, I was hyped just when I heard that, because these are legit guys. Like legit. I mean, Shelton Benjamin, come on now, Bobby Lashley. There is no way even MVP, bro. Go look him up.
Yeah.
You don't want to catch him.
So real quick, what Bobby Lashley, the first man? He didn't hold any gold in Bellator, right? No, he never got in the Grand Prix. I think he had left already by the time he got the Grand Prix. But respectable record, all in less in mixed martial arts.
He is the XFN heavyweight champion, the Shark Fights heavyweight champion. So he does have MMA belt.
So him and Brock Lesnar are the only man to hold MMA gold and WWE gold. So book it, Vince. Real fighting. Come on here. That's it for this week's show. Thank you so much for tuning in here. And if you did tune into our live watch Twitch party on AEW Revolution, thank you for doing that one here as well. Make sure to keep up to date with us on all social media platforms. We're mainly on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at FiveRoundMMA. Again, if you find us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications on our YouTube channel. Again, we're available everywhere you get your audio podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get it. Anywhere you find us, want to find us, we're there for you. Again, thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your time here. Albert, what do you got?
Nothing, just thanks everybody for listening.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in.